Brush fire has billowing black smoke catching the attention of residents from several corners of the capital. A flood warning has people on edge. Authorities suggest preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. Plus, Sens looking to redeem themselves against Carolina with playoff action underway. Good evening. Topping the news tonight, a fire that caused ominous dark clouds of smoke to billow high above the ground, catching the attention of many who could see it off in the distance. No official report from firefighters just yet, but they confirm responding to the blaze along the trails near Herdman Station this afternoon. The flames were quickly contained, but curiosity by the masses had many looking for details. Drivers could see it from the Queensway. Apartment dwellers started filming from balconies, and those riding the LRT would have traveled right by it. No injuries have been reported, and we're still waiting for an update on the cause. Our newsroom was alerted around 5:30 p.m. Turning to the latest on the flood warning threatening several homes near the Ottawa River, the official word is that water levels should stabilize by Wednesday, but flood-prone communities are on high alert tonight. The warning covers a stretch of the Ottawa River from Pembroke to Hawkesbury. Major flood levels have been exceeded along the river between Arnprior and Britannia in Ottawa's West End. CTV's Josh Morano has more from Constance Bay.
It belongs to a gentleman down here, 4 doors down or whatever, and it was going out with the ice.
For Paul Graveline, this is his view of where his backyard dock used to be as water surrounds his property.
We're going to be okay in the house. The house has been raised to the new 100-year flood level, whatever it is, where it's a moving target.
He's been monitoring Ottawa River levels closely, like many here, trying to save whatever he can and preparing for more water before things level off.
We're just hoping that some of the neighbors with water problems, get some sort of help.
In Constance Bay, sandbags being filled by volunteers, lining properties, and water flooding lawns and driveways as the Ottawa River continues to push into low-lying areas.
I'll tell you, they're saying that it's lower than in 24, but from what I'm seeing on my property and the 2 next door here, it's a little scary.
There's a home over here which looks like they're possibly getting their gas shut off, so multiple homes are now affected in multiple areas of Ward 5.
The rise in water is driven by snowmelt and recent rainfall, and while levels are expected to stabilize this week, there's a risk more flooding could be on the way this spring.
There is a lot of water and even ice still in the northern part of the river basin coming from Lake Temiskaming. Hopefully there's room in the system to clear a lot of that before that stuff starts to come. Fingers crossed that is the case, and if not, we will have more work to do.
For residents in Constance Bay, hoping for the best, but still preparing for the worst.
If it doesn't stabilize, I'm afraid that there's going to be quite a bit of damage.
Josh Morano, CTV News, Constance Bay.
Just east of Constance Bay, the river is now covering parts of Britannia Beach. Water levels increased more than a foot over the weekend at Britannia. So far, there is no word on any properties affected by flooding in that area. And this is what it looks like on the Quebec side. Gatineau's Rue St. Louis residents are once again dealing with spring flooding. City officials warning late today that an additional 100 properties are at risk as water levels rise higher than expected. Water levels on the Ottawa River in Hull have increased more than 50 centimeters since last Friday. Updated stats from the Ottawa River Regulation Planning Board show water levels could increase another 30 centimeters by Wednesday before receding. Also, a state of emergency is in effect for West Quebec's Fort-Coulonge, the Ottawa River beginning to wash out roads. Fort-Coulonge is about 45 kilometers from Pembroke, as CTV's Dylan Dyson reports. While the situation in the community isn't dire yet, water levels are expected to continue rising.
Fort-Coulonge resident Martin Laguerriere has set up sandbags to prevent any further flooding damage to his property.
Welland Street, right there. It doesn't look like a street, but it is. It's basically flooded, so when vehicles come out, we've put some sandbags here just to avoid some of the waves coming through.
The western Quebec town has declared a state of emergency with Ottawa River levels on the rise, yet to reach its peak.
It's been raising about a centimeter an hour for the last 24 hours, like 2 meters over the last 7 days.
Sand berms line shorelines and roads with parks and farm fields already underwater. It has residents preparing their homes for potential flooding.
We just got about 16 cinder blocks so that we could put it under my furniture and raise them, so when the water does come in, if it does, the stuff won't get damaged, because anything that gets damaged we have to throw out.
While this isn't the worst flooding residents in Fort-Coulonge have seen, many are comparing it to the levels seen in 2023, but the expectation is that this is going to get worse.
We expect flooding every year, but it's already to that peak where normally it's the worst we get, and it's just starting.
We are expecting the water to go up, so that's why we're making dikes right now, because we know we're going to need them eventually, and we won't have the time to build them if we wait.
Following heavy rains and the spring melt, area rivers are flowing at 10 times the average volume. Any further encroachment on the town could be devastating to the wastewater system.
If we get the waters from the boat rivers in the system, then we're really in trouble. Like in the village, we would most likely have to evacuate maybe a third of the lower part of the village.
When I go to bed at night, I keep an eye on it as well. I go and check downstairs, make sure the pump is working, and we'll do that. And we'll wait and see.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News, Fort-Coulonge.
For the latest updates on regional flooding, visit our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Now, for a first check on the weather, here's what you can expect going forward. Clear skies tonight, but there is a chance for rain showers or flurries tomorrow. Not too much in the forecast, but again, any precipitation isn't helpful for the flooding situation happening in our region. A mix of sun and cloud is what you can expect on Wednesday. The next 24 hours looking like this. -3 is what you'll wake up to tomorrow. Not much of a warm-up. We will hit a daytime high of about 7 degrees in the afternoon before we can start enjoying more seasonal double-digit temperature later this week. The Sens pushing hard in Game 2 of their first-round matchup with the Carolina Hurricanes. The game going into double overtime tonight.
Pass Ethers. Sanderson intercepts. Dylan Cousins on it. Scores! Dylan Cousins floats one through.
This playoff game, very exciting tonight. Fans are hoping for a comeback win after losing Game 1 over the weekend, and Sens didn't disappoint when it came to making sure tonight's Game 2 wasn't another shutout. The game was tied at 2-2 for about 80 minutes before pushing it into double overtime, and the two teams are still at it as we speak. The series comes to the capital on Thursday. Premier Doug Ford's government is feeling forced to ground its plane purchase after much public outcry. CTV's Siobhan Morris has all the details on the $30 million private jet and what happens now.
I understand that you may be passionate this morning.
Tempers hot in question period over the Ford government's purchase of a 10-year-old, $29 million jet intended for the Premier's business.
To say this was just a minor error is absolutely absurd.
Announced and defended by the Premier's office on Friday. By Sunday morning, Doug Ford said he's putting the plane up for sale.
It shows leadership when our Premier recognizes that a decision needs to be changed, and he changes it.
The Premier in Ottawa for a speaking engagement got an earful over the weekend.
I heard loud and clear from the people that this was not the time to purchase a plane.
Ford says he should have been out making the case for the jet, even as Ontarians struggled to get by.
I understand the cost of fuel is going up. I understand groceries are going up. I understand everything is going up, and it's costly.
But critics say the plane purchase has marred Ford's For the People brand.
The Premier's personal preference to have his own private luxury jet is really speaking more about who he really is.
The Premier feels he's victim of a double standard.
I'm under scrutiny more than the Prime Minister, more than any Premier in the entire country. And the inconsistencies from the media are just mind-boggling to me.
Pointing out Quebec and the federal government have jets to move politicians. The reversal leaves the opposition with more questions than before.
We We deserve to know how every dollar was spent on this greedy scheme, including the penalties, including the resale losses.
The original buy would have been approved by Cabinet.
I can't disclose conversations that occur at Treasury Board or at the Cabinet level to preserve Cabinet confidentiality.
And new changes to freedom of information laws speeding through the legislature may keep more insight in secret.
And the Premier has the gall to spend your tax dollars on a private luxury jet, and now he's trying to use legislation to hide it from you.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
In the meantime, the Premier was in Ottawa today backing his government's commitment to take over the LRT. Problem is, for some, that commitment isn't coming with timelines. Here's CTV's Leah LaRocque.
Okay, gentlemen, looking straight ahead.
It was all smiles in a photo op between Mayor Mark Sutcliffe and Premier Doug Ford ahead of their private meeting.
Well, first of all, it's great to be here in Ottawa.
The Premier facing questions about his controversial purchase of a private jet.
You listen to the people. You listen to the people. I get it.
But transit users in Ottawa are hoping he listens to them. Follows through on his promise to upload and take over responsibility of the city's light rail transit system.
I thought they were going to have the east extension to Orleans, which is what I need, back in like December, but they just kept pushing it back and back and back. So then by now I'm like, well, is it ever going to like happen?
We are going to have discussions about uploading the LRT. We committed to it.
The Premier didn't give a timeline or any details on the progress.
Again, taking the burden off the backs of the people of Ottawa, and we're going to continue working with the mayor. We have a great relationship, a great partnership. He's a wonderful mayor.
Mayor Mark Sutcliffe wasn't made available before or after his meeting with the Premier, but he is expected to speak tomorrow after the latest edition of the Mayor's Breakfast, where he is expected to sit down with Ontario's Minister of Transportation. Negotiations began in the fall of 2025, but since then, few updates on talks or the cost.
It's challenging because I have to upload my phone as I'm walking to the station and confirm whether it's actually working.
But the mayor has called the upload a game changer, and it would help erase the city's $52 million transit deficit off the city's books.
It's just going to be like whenever they get it fixed, that's when it's going to happen, and they're never going to be able to give us a timeline.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
It tells us where the tumor is, and more importantly, it tells us where tumor isn't.
Coming up, the pink drink will tell you why it could be a game changer for surgeons and patients at the Ottawa Hospital. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Right now, the temperature is -4. Now let's take a closer look at the forecast. Our satellite radar picture showing fairly clear skies tonight, and we will expect some clouds to roll in tomorrow morning. But before we talk about that, let's take a look at our overnight lows. Here in the capital, we are sitting at the low currently at -4. It's also -4 in Brockville and Kingston. Cornwall slightly cooler at -5. And over in Kitigan-Zibi in Quebec, West Quebec, just north of us there, -11. -1 in Pembroke and -7 in Bancroft right now. Taking a look right around the region, you can see that Mount Tremblant and Maniwaki are also seeing overnight lows of -11 on the other side of the river there. And Petawawa is sitting at -6 tonight. As we continue to look at tomorrow's daytime highs, single-digit territory, but above the freezing mark for many municipalities in our region. Mostly 7s on the board. Pembroke is going to see a daytime high of 5 degrees. And again, be on the lookout for mixed precipitation. That is also 5 degrees in Petawawa, Maniwaki, and Mount Tremblant. 9 degrees for the daytime high in Montreal if you are headed east of our city to Quebec. As we take a look right now at our 7-day forecast, 14 degrees on Wednesday once we get through that single-digit 7-degree daytime high tomorrow, and then we start to dry out for the rest of the week. 15 degrees on Thursday, lots of sunshine for Thursday and Friday, 14 on Friday, mix of sun and cloud on Saturday with a high of 14, but Monday, next Monday, a week from now, 18 degrees. The Ottawa Hospital's pink drink might sound like something on the menu or in the vending machine, but that's far from the case. It's a powerful new tool giving surgeons and patients a stronger chance to fight cancer. CTV's Sean Varden explains.
The Ottawa Hospital has a new tool giving surgeons an upper hand in the fight against cancer.
It's known as 5-ALA, and it's a drug that is ingested, so it is taken orally in patients about 4 hours before surgery.
Dubbed the pink drink, it's now coloring doctors and patients with more hope. Once taken, the drink metabolizes and turns certain cancerous tissue a fluorescent pink. It means the bad tissue is highlighted for surgeons who use a special microscope and blue filter.
That tells us where the tumor is and allows us to take out much more tumor than we would normally be able to. It tells us where the tumor is, and more importantly, it tells us where tumor isn't.
I was very pleased that it lit up the cancerous cells and that they were able to cut out all the tumor and some of the meat around it to ensure that they got all the cancer out of my spine.
For Jody Stang, the pink drink made a better outcome, with doctors having a clear roadmap on what to remove, limiting neurological damage. But if you're wondering how it tastes,
I must say it was the most horrible drink that I've ever had in my life. But then a few hours later, they wheeled me down to go to surgery.
the Ottawa Hospital investing big money to give patients a better chance. And while Jody's surgery allowed for precision in his back, doctors are impressed by the level of precision it can have while operating on the brain. Glioblastoma is one of the deadliest brain cancers, and Dr. Mohammed believes his liquid will improve the quality of outcomes.
The pink drink is one of those things that allows us to give patients more hope when they perceive no hope, and that is important.
Sean Varden, CTV News.
How can they operate it any differently? Because minimum wage and minimum wage for everybody, right?
Still to come, how city-run grocery stores could help the affordability crisis. Some municipalities are looking at opening a city-owned grocery store, and it's a move that could help residents with a harsh cost of living. At least one city councillor wants Ottawa to think about giving it a shot. CTV's Kimberly Johnson has more.
After decades in the business, Alfonso Curcio doesn't think a city should run a grocery store.
How are they going to run a grocery store? And how can they do it differently than the Loblaws and the Costco's and the Walmarts of the world?
An Ottawa councillor wants the city to explore the development of a municipal food strategy, which could possibly include a city-owned grocery store in an effort to improve food access.
The profit margin, say it's 4%, right? The customer's not going to even see that, the cash.
But the owner of Farmer's Pick on Prince of Wales Drive says profit margins are small, while the cost of doing business is rising.
Unless they're not going to pay any property taxes, not going to pay any gas or any hydro, besides that, how can they operate it any differently? Because minimum wage and minimum wage for everybody, right?
In a motion for Wednesday's council meeting, Councillor Marty Carr recommends council direct staff to explore a municipal food strategy that would look at food access, waste, production, and distribution. Carr's motion says the report would examine improvements to food access, including establishing food hubs and city-owned grocery stores. Last month, Toronto City Council approved a motion for the city to establish 4 not-for-profit city-run grocery stores. Sylvain Charlebois with the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University tells the Morning Rush with Bill Carroll that these types of stores can be used to address food deserts.
They're probably going to open up these stores in several downtown cores where theft, homelessness, drugs are a huge problem, and that's why grocers are just kind of avoiding downtowns these days.
I've never heard of anything like that, to be quite honest, but I think it would be a great initiative to begin with.
I think the city might better use its resources to support existing measures, such as food banks and supporting measures to support local farmers.
That was CTV's Kimberly Johnson. A Carlton Place restaurant has reopened after it was shut down last week when diners fell ill. The Southeast Public Health Unit ordered Italia Unlimited to close after several people reported becoming ill after dining at the restaurant. The restaurant was not in compliance for 8 inspection categories. The health unit confirms to CTV News that all the infractions were resolved and the restaurant reopened on Friday.
They're my friends, drink.
And you will be allowed to enjoy an alcoholic beverage at select Ottawa parks this summer. The city will conduct a pilot project again this summer to analyze allowing beer and wine to be enjoyed in parks. Councillors will have final say on whether alcohol will be allowed in parks in their wards. Last summer, alcoholic beverages were allowed in 8 Ottawa parks, including Minto Park, Strathcona Park, and at Lansdowne.
This is where a tax software like TurboTax with its AI can do that heavy lifting for you.
Coming up, what you need to know as the tax deadline draws near as more and more Canadians hope for a return to help pay bills. With the deadline to file your taxes now 10 days away, a new survey finds many Canadians are counting on a refund to help with the rising cost of living. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
More than ever, many Canadians are counting on a tax refund to help them pay their bills. A survey by TurboTax found 69% of Canadians say they'll be financially impacted if they don't get a tax refund this year, and 40% say they're relying on their tax refund to cover the rising cost of living expenses.
Canadians are increasingly becoming stressed over the state of the Canadian market, the economy obviously being triggered by a lot of the geopolitical tensions that we are seeing occur right now.
TurboTax says there are more than 400 different deductions and credits that you may be eligible for. The survey found 58% worry they may be missing out on tax credits and deductions. Using a tax software program can help you find them.
This is where a tax software like TurboTax with its AI can do that heavy lifting for you, will take out the guesswork.
UFile is another popular tax software program. Like most that are available, they also have a free version depending on your income.
Most softwares will offer a free version of their software, including ours, as long as they meet certain criteria, which are usually not hard to meet.
You can also go to the CRA's website and use SimpleFile, which is a free service for individuals with a lower income and simple tax situation. Many mistakes happen because people forget to deduct expenses they're eligible for. Comparing this year's tax return to last year's can help find errors and omissions.
Double check your return with your previous year's return. Okay, that's very, very important.
The survey also found 1 in 4 Canadians admit they're tempted to claim something they're not qualified for, which is not recommended. One change happening is the GST-HST credit has been renamed the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit. It will provide quarterly payments starting this summer to more than 12 million Canadians with low to modest incomes. Pat Foran, CTV News.
In more consumer news, drivers are finding some relief at the gas pumps today, and we've been hearing of long lineups at stations that now have regular gas listed at around $1.33. And some drivers may be filling up now because the cheaper gas may not be here forever. Gas was selling for between $1.61 and $1.64 a liter at Ottawa stations earlier today, but many stations dropped prices after 6 p.m. Gas prices have dropped around 18 cents a liter over the past 2 days due to the cutting of federal taxes and a shift in oil markets. But oil prices climbed once again today after the U.S. Navy seized an Iranian cargo ship, putting the fragile ceasefire in the Middle East in jeopardy. Industry analysts warn prices could rise further this week.
How long that will hold really depends on what happens in the Middle East, to tell you the truth. The price of crude jumps, so will the price of gasoline. So that 10-cent a liter excise tax savings you're seeing now, I would grab it because I have not got a lot of confidence that it's going to stick for an extended period of time.
Shipping traffic remains at a virtual standstill in the Strait of Hormuz today, just 3 ships crossing in the span of 12 hours. When we return, racing robots outrunning humans. Stay with us. Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature holding steady at -4, and that is our overnight low tonight. And now for a final check on the weather, let's see how things will shape up when you wake up. -2 is how we'll start things off, maybe around -3 as well, but clear skies tomorrow morning. We could see some clouds roll into our region that could bring mixed precipitation. Might look like flurries or rain. We know it won't stick around too much because the ground temperature is fairly warm, and we will get a daytime high of 7 degrees. Later this week, we are seeing double-digit territory, 14 degrees for much of the week. And finally for us tonight, we take you to Beijing, where robots were on the run. More than 300 humanoid robots competed in the 21-kilometer race, running in parallel tracks with human athletes to avoid collisions. The Chinese android Lightning coasted by the entire field, running the half marathon in a stunning 50 minutes and 26 seconds to eclipse a human record by more than 6 minutes. What an achievement, even getting a medal. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful night.